Hi everyone, I'm Jody of Lambent Crochet. Welcome to my channel. For the Cheeky Bikini Bottoms tutorial, I'll be using Bernat Maker Home Deck yarn. It's a category 5 bulky weight yarn and it is a blend of cotton and nylon. It has a tubular construction with a little bit of batting inside. I find this yarn excellent to use for bathing suits as well as bralettes because it's a little bit spongy. So when you're making your stitches, I find that the batting kind of puffs the stitches out, filling any little gaps that you have. So it offers really good coverage. Plus it holds its shape really well. So I'll be using my G 4mm crochet hook to make these, and now I do recommend visiting my blog lambentcrochet.com where you can find the gauge information to make sure you're matching the right hook with this project. Okay, now let's get into it. So we're first going to start by constructing the crotch area. So go ahead and make your slip knot. Now I'm going to chain up 10 plus 1 for the turning chain, which is going to give me a total of 10 stitches in width, which measures just over 2 inches. So if you would like to measure off of a bathing suit they already have, you can go ahead and make your chain the same width plus 1 additional chain for the turning chain to be sure that this is going to fit you just right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my chain of 10 plus 1. And now I'm going to do a row of single crochets. So starting in the second chain from the hook and then down the chain. Just make 1 single crochet in every chain. Okay, now that I have my very first row complete, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and then do another 14 rows of single crochet. Now, if you find that that is too many rows or not enough, feel free to customize the amount of rows needed for the crotch area to reach your desired coverage. Okay, so now that I have a total of 15 rows of single crochet, I'm ready to begin working on the back side of the bikini. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work to begin the first row of the 2-row repeat. So in the very first stitch, we're going to start off by making an increase. So make 2 single crochets in the first stitch, then go ahead and make a single crochet in every stitch except for the very last one, which you're going to be doing another increase. So another 2 single crochets in the last stitch. This will cause the row to increase by 2 stitches. So my previous row was 10 stitches and now this row will leave me with 12. When you have this row complete, chain 1 and turn your work to begin the second row of our 2-row repeat. Okay, so for the second row of our 2-row repeat, it's a very simple row. All you're doing is making a single crochet in every stitch. So I'm going to have a total of 12 stitches, the same amount as my previous row. When you're finished this row, go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work to continue the 2-row repeat as many times as needed until you reach your desired coverage. Please make note that with every row repeat you're going to be doing, you're going to have an increase of 2 stitches. Okay, so I just wanted to take a quick pause to show you my progress so you can see how the V is very even on both sides. I'm about 1/3 of the way completed for the back side. I also wanted to point out that my fabric is still stretchy and pliable and has some flexibility to it. If you find that your fabric is very stiff and isn't moving very well, you might want to frog your work and increase your hook size. And don't forget that you can find the gauge information on my blog, lambentcrochet.com, so feel free to pause the video and go and quickly pop over there to make sure you have the right gauge. Okay, now I'll get back to it. So I've just completed my back side of the Cheeky Bikini Bottoms. I have a total of 35 rows for my desired coverage. Now there's going to be 15 rows for the crotch area plus an additional 35 rows for the back side. So that gives me a total of 50 rows that I've made so far. And please remember that this tutorial is more of a guide to help you create your own Cheeky Bikini Bottoms and go ahead and crochet as many or as little rows that you need for your desired coverage. Okay, so now we're just going to chain 1 to tie off and cut your yarn. Then we're going to be moving on to the front portion of our bikini bottoms. Okay, so go ahead and join your yarn to the back of the very first row, so along the starting chain, and then just continue working the 2-row repeats, so making your first row begin with the row of increases, and keep repeating the row repeats until you've reached your desired coverage. Okay, so now I've completed the front portion of my Cheeky Bikini Bottoms, and I did a total of 25 rows. So for my coverage, I needed 10 rows less than the back side. And now we're going to move on to working the straps and the side edging. I personally like a longer strap, so I'm going to do a chain of 70 plus 1, and feel free to make the chain as long or as short as you would like. Then once you've reached your desired length, do the chain 1 for the turning chain, turn your work, and then make a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook and all the way down your row of chains. Okay, so I just finished completing the last slip stitch along the last chain, and now I'm going to be going into the side edging. So we're just going to be doing a single crochet in every row of single crochets along the side edge, but we're going to stop doing the single crochets once we reach the crotch area. So when you reach the 15 rows in the crotch area, or however many rows that you made, we're just going to be doing a slip stitch instead, just to avoid any additional bulk or thickness that a single crochet can give. So when you're working on the side edge, just keep track of how many single crochets you're doing. You should have the same amount of single crochets as you did rows for the back side as well as the front side, and then the amount of slip stitches should equal the same amount of rows you did for the crotch area. When you reach the very last single crochet of the other side, we're going to be starting the other strap. Okay, so I'm just working the very last single crochet along the side edge, and now I'm just going to go ahead and do the same amount of chains I did for the first strap and then slip stitch down the row. So I just finished completing my slip stitches down the length of the strap. So now I'm just going to join with a slip stitch to the next stitch along the top edge, then chain 1 to tie off, and now I'm going to cut my yarn. Pull that through, and then we're going to be joining our yarn on the other side to continue working these straps and the side edging. Now when you're working on the other half of the straps and side edging, be sure you're joining your yarn on the same side that you ended with. So I ended by working on the back side, so I'm going to begin by joining my yarn to the opposite corner of the back side, and then continuing the steps that I did along the other side to complete the rest of the straps and side edging. If I were to begin working on the front side instead, it would cause my edging to be facing the wrong way and have my bikini bottoms looking a little untidy. So once you've completed the straps and side edging, all that's left to do is weave in your ends. Here is what the Cheeky Bikini Bottoms look like when they're all finished. Now they're ready to wear for a day at the beach. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if so, please give me a like and share some love in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell button so you'll always be notified when I have a new video uploaded. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, so pop on over, give me a like and a follow, and you can tag me in all of your crochet related posts where you learned a new technique or pattern from watching these tutorials. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you real soon.